QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. I'm Jenna Bosonko. Thanks for joining us, and here are the main news headlines. President Barrow has announced that the Gambia will now host the OIC Summit on the 5th of May 2024 instead of next month to allow for a better preparedness for a successful summit. 70 Afghans have been left homeless after a devastating fire at Firdaus Quranic Memorization Boarding School in Serekunda, Bamboo. In business news, the Gambia Transport Service Company has signed a memorandum of understanding with Dakar Dem Dik, Senegal's largest public transport company. In international news, China's President Xi Jinping and America's Joe Biden, leaders of the world's biggest economies, are to meet this week in San Francisco at the annual APEC summit. And in sports news, a Gambian cyclist, Usman Jane, has lamented the difficulties cyclists in the country face, which prevent them from competing in sub-regional events. Now, those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're just joining us, you're watching QTV News, and I'm Diana Bosonko. Now, President Barrow says the Gambia will now host the OIC Summit on 5th of May 2024 instead of next month, December 2023, to allow for better preparedness for a successful summit. He was speaking on his return from an official visit to Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. As Aliou Cissé reports, the governments of the Gambia and Saudi also signed several bilateral agreements.
President Barrow is returning from Saudi Arabia, where he was accompanied by Lady Sergeant Mbalo Barrow, a high-powered delegation of government officials, to attend the Saudi Africa Leaders Summit and OIC Extraordinary Summit on the war on Gaza, respectively, hosted by His Majesty King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud and the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman. President Barrow says this decision follows engagements with the heads of state and the OIC Secretariat in Saudi Arabia to move the hosting of the summit, scheduled for December 2023 to 5th of May 2024. This is the latest in a series of rescheduling of the Gambia's hosting of the OIC summit since 2019.
You know, we are the country that is supposed to host the next. It was scheduled for the 16th, but because of the circumstances, security and all sort of, we decided that I think it's better we push it further. And we decided to engage at the highest level, engage with head of states, engage with the secretariat, so that we can push it to the 5th of May, 2024. And I think unanimously, they all agreed, I think that time would be the best time to host the program.
While in Saudi Arabia, the president also joined several other world leaders at the OIC Extraordinary Summit on the Israel-Palestine war on Gaza, which has so far left over 11,000 Palestinians killed. President Barrow called for an immediate ceasefire and the release of all hostages through dialogue to reduce the tension. He said the Saudi government is committed to partnering with Africa in diverse areas, including getting domestic workers from Africa to work in Saudi, but with laws that will protect workers.
And I think this is very important because we are challenged with irregular migration. Now, we will have official migration, domestic workers, skilled workers, and even public servants. And this is to the tune of over 12 million workers. And Saudi is also giving priority to countries that are not well represented in Saudi, especially Gambia. Officially, we have only 200 Gambians in the official engagement. We have sound double taxation. This allows Saudi investors to come to Gambia. So definitely there is a lot that is done during this short visit.
Several Saudi dignitaries called on President Barrow in Riyadh to discuss bilateral and diplomatic issues of mutual concern. They include the Islamic Development Bank, the Secretary General of the World Assembly of Muslim Youth, the Secretary General of the OIC, Hussein Brahim Taha, and officials of the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center. The Gambian delegation wrapped up the engagement by performing Umrah. President Barrow described this latest official visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as the most engaging with top Saudi officials, more so than any other trip. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
Now on to some sad news, as 70 orphans have been left homeless after a devastating fire at Firdaus Quranic Memorization Boarding School in Sarakunda Bamboo on Tuesday afternoon. As Alusisa reports, the children are left without food and clothing.
The fire is suspected to have been caused by poor electric wiring. Until Tuesday afternoon, this rented property was home to all these young boys and girls. Having lost their parents and with little or no support, this home-turned boarding school was all they had to memorize the Holy Quran and learn the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Ibrahim Ba, an eyewitness, says he was sleeping in one of the rooms when the fire started. Feeling uncomfortable due to the heat and smoke, he woke up and rushed outside only to notice that the house was on fire. With the help of a few people, they managed to get all the children to safety. While these orphans now wander about the compound with no food or shelter except for the benevolence of some neighbors, the school authorities are soliciting help in the Gambia and abroad. After this heartbreaking incident, it appears that their dreams of a better future are out of reach. Bello Ba is a family member of the school's founder. He explains how the devastating incident happened.
Luckily for us, it didn't happen at night. It happened during the day. Had it happened during the night, it would have been disastrous. Because we have children here, children that are all orphans. They are here for Quranic memorization. This place is like a boarding school. This is where they stay and live, and this is where they eat. Anything that a particular child can have at home, this is where they have it. So we'll say Alhamdulillah on that side, this thing didn't happen at night.
With the exception of their school uniforms, which many of them were wearing at the time of the incident, their clothes, food and all other household items have been consumed by the fire. The children now sleep outside on these worn-out mattresses because they have nowhere else to go. Bello Ba calls on the public for support.
I will call upon the philanthropists out there, those who are out there to help and can help. We really need their help right now, because we cannot do this alone. We must get help from outside if there are people out there willing to help. And as we all know, this is a memorization school where children are.
An emotional Alhaji Muhammad Ba, founder of Firdaus Quranic Memorization Boarding School, who is also the Imam of Masjid Bilal at Westfield, also called on philanthropists and members of the public for assistance.
We need help because now the children, they don't have clothes to wear. They don't have shoes, even food, they don't have nothing. Also their birth certificate and all their document is lost. So this is Quranic memorization, so we need support, we need help in the whole world. Everybody, we need help, because now we cannot able to do the maintenance of this house, because the house all is burned. So if you help in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will help you, because this all we are equal in the Islam, in Quran, especially the Quran. So if you help for the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will help you. So we need help everywhere. We need help. We need help.
The children are now desperate, and anyone willing to support them can call on QTV on 3333245 or email news@qtv.gm. Ansumana Esonyasi for QTV News.
Very unfortunate situation there. That story by Ansumana Esonyasi instead of Alusisa, as mentioned earlier. Now moving on, Peace Corps The Gambia organized a closing ceremony on Monday at the Gambia Pastoral Institute GPI for 46 participants who had taken part in a youth camp. Loli M. Kamara attended, and this is her report.
The youth camp, which started on Saturday, brought together youth leaders, partner organizations and Peace Corps volunteers from communities in the 5 regions of the country. According to organizers, the purpose is to train and increase youth awareness on employment opportunities in rural areas, contribute to the Gambia's Youth Employability and Empowerment Initiative and the fight against irregular migration, and improve their resilience in their respective communities. Amelia Amiset Mendy is the language and culture facilitator and youth coordinator for Peace Corps The Gambia.
We talk about peace building because when we talk about demonstration, it's youths that we see. So even if they are demonstrating, how can we have a peaceful demonstration We talk about migration. The youths are the one taking the back way, and we have seen it these days. It's getting rampant. How can we tell them that they can make it here? And even though they have used the back way, how can they see themselves through? Like there are some youths, they will take the back way. They can't swim. They don't have maps to read where they are, and so on.
Musajar, Youth and Sports Coordinator for Upper River Region, under the Ministry of Youth and Sports, expressed delight at taking part in the event.
We've discussed a lot of issues concerning community development in diverse areas. We, as Fula, Mandinka, Wolof, Jola, we have our different ethnic dialects, and we have our different identities. How do we get to the community with the volunteers, the Peace Corps volunteers, in order helping them to be able to pave the way for community development?
Peace Corps in the Gambia are working with communities on projects including agriculture, education, and health. Additionally, with the collaboration from the Gambia government and NGOs, Peace Corps volunteers identify ways to reduce poverty by improving agriculture productivity. Here is Siri Molly, the country director for Peace Corps the Gambia.
Just hope that everyone found some inspiration, some new ideas during this workshop. I understand migration is an option a lot of people look at, but we really hope that with the support of Peace Corps, that more and more youth can look at how they can invest in their own community here in the Gambia to create a brighter future for the country.
During their service in the Gambia, volunteers learn to speak local languages, including Mandinka, Fula, Wolof, and Jola, amongst others. Jainaba is a volunteer serving in the Central River region. She highlights some of her experience since arriving in the Gambia a year ago.
It's been very interesting. We've gotten a lot done. We've gotten a lot of problems solved with youth in the Gambia, so it's been nice to interact with everybody from all over.
Mohamed Lamin Kuyate, a migrant returnee from CRR, now an entrepreneur, thanked the organizers for coming with such a wonderful initiative. The Peace Corps was established by an order of American President John F. Kennedy in 1961. The first Peace Corps volunteers arrived in the Gambia at the invitation of the Gambian government in September 1967. Since then, they worked in skilled trades as mechanics, engineers, and carpenters, and they organized village cooperatives. Now, with 50 years of continuous activity, over 1,800 Peace Corps volunteers have served in the Gambia. For QTV News, Slowly M. Kamara.
Brilliant initiative there by the Gambia Peace Corps. Now we'll go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we have local business and sports news to stay.
Ndajem jënd ak njaay mi fi faral di am dellu si waat na sa Independence Stadium di Gambia Youth Chamber of Commerce ñoo am lëkkaloo ak di Gambia Women Chamber of Commerce dikkati neen si juróomi pàcc bu jigéen ñi ak ndawi réew mi ñuy yëngu si fàggu koom-koom mbay muy agro business ak tourism trade fair si atum ren bi ndajem jënd ak njaay mi mu ngi yokk ak di fulandil ay jumtukaay yu xarañ tukkee si ay ndaw ak jigéen yu màcc ci baana fii si réewu Gambia dinañ fa dalal ay baana yu xarañ jógee sa Afrique saw jent ngir suqali nangute bi mootaay réewu Afrique fas ngir jëriñ seen doomi réew tukkee si jënd ak jaay dinañ fa am ay yëngu-yëngu yu bégle te am solo lu si mel ni jongante xarañteef màggal bési jigéen ñi ak ndaw ñi woy ak feeñal aada ak cosaan ak yeneen xeetu xew-xew yu neex yu kawe seen njot gaaw leen bindu ngir taxawal palaasu njaay di tàmbale benn fan jëmba si ñaar fukki fan ak juróom si décembre dégg ngeen ma de si diiru ñaar fukki fan ak juróom ngir sabablu jënd jaay nangute ak lëkkaloo tukkee si wàllu baana di xewee sa bërëbu Independence Stadium sa Bakaw pour am si ay bataaxal yu leer wooteel 368 5556 368 5556 203 1080 203 1080 wala 5200045 5200045 ñu tasee Trade Fair.
QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled device. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If we're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Still on local news, a new maternity ward has been inaugurated in New Yundum Health Center in the West Coast region to provide quality maternity health care for women and children. Lena Ikwinyiba has more.
The new maternity ward, funded by the Mama Africa Gambia, a foundation based in Holland, and the New Yundum Village Development Committee, aims to provide quality maternity health care for mothers and babies. Equipped with modern medical equipment, the maternity ward is also poised to significantly elevate the level of care available to expectant mothers in the community and surrounding catchment areas. Marieke van der Waal, the founder of Mama Africa Holland Foundation, shares insights into the impactful collaboration.
I heard the sad stories about so much suffering during childbirth because pregnant women could not give birth in a safe place. Here, and often arrive too late at the nearest hospital or medical clinic. With passion of the VDC to start this project with a small amount from our account. The small build was break down and start this project. Bricks were made and the foundation was laid.
Fatou Cissé, officer in charge at the New Yundum Health Center, provides an overview of the new infrastructure.
The maternity ward that we are inaugurating today comprised of theatre, nursing station, antenatal and postnatal ward with a bed capacity of 24, 4 labor rooms, each with its own toilet. Our labor rooms are spacious enough, well-maintained privacy and conducive for husbands to be with their partners.
Babanding Sabali, Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, commends the high standards set by the center, reaffirming the ministry's commitment to safeguarding lives.
I can tell you it's befitting to say that this health center has met the criteria of upgrading to a major health center. And the ministry will look into it and see how best we can actualize the dream. We want to reiterate the ministry's unflinching effort to ensure that maternal mortality is reduced to its barest minimum. We believe that no woman should die while giving birth.
Fatou Cissé, a woman's representative, expresses profound appreciation for the initiative, emphasizing its potential to alleviate the burdens faced by women.
Here, women in labor without transportation often end up giving birth en route. Having a car ensures a safer journey. With a facility like this today, our gratitude knows no bounds, as it will address this issue.
With this significant addition to the New Yundum Health Center, the community eagerly anticipates a transformative impact on maternal health care, ensuring that mothers receive optimal maternity care. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwinyiba.
From that story by Lena Igwinyiba, let's take a look at business news. The Gambia Transport Service Company on Tuesday convened a press briefing to discuss its newly signed Memorandum of Understanding with Dakar Dem Dikk, Senegal's largest public transport company. Lena Igwinyiba again.
The recently signed MOU will enhance services and connectivity along the Banjul to Dakar route. Sidi Kanyi, General Manager of GTSC, elaborates on the MOU and outlines the benefits for customers.
So the MOU that we signed will lead to an expansion of our services along the Banjul-Dakar corridor, where we will double our service coverage on that corridor. Currently, I'm sure everybody knows that GTSC is doing 2 buses per day per direction. But with the MOU signed, it will lead to 4 buses per day per direction. That is 4 buses from Banjul daily and 4 buses from Dakar daily at different times. This is as a result of our reaction response to the high demand for our service on that corridor. At the moment, if you want to go to Dakar or come from Dakar, if you don't book at least 2-3 days before your planned departure date, most likely than not, you cannot get a seat. But with this expansion, you are assured of at least availability of seat just few hours before your departure.
Having previously signed the first and second MOUs in 2017 and 2020, the latest one promises even more comprehensive services, including the exchange of expertise in spare parts. Sidi Kanye announces a groundbreaking development.
By end of November, we will launch what we call smart travel cards. Locally, we have named it the Tamo card. Tamo is Mandinka word meaning Johnny, Tuki. And it will be introduced is together with the software we are developing for ticketing solution. And with this smart card, it's going to be cashless handling. You will load your card with money, with funds, and anytime you want to travel from A to B, wherever, within Gambia and beyond, you will be using that card. Alongside the tickets that we'll be issuing for those who are not either keen on using the card or they just want to be disbursing cash to us.
Encouraging public adoption, Mr. Kanye emphasizes the numerous advantages offered by this new technology.
You will encourage the passengers to aggressively patronize it. It has a lot of benefits in it. Number one, you, the traveler, will not risk losing your wallet. I've lost my wallet containing X amount of dollars. That will not take place at all if you use the card. And it's environmental friendly and it's easy to use. It's easy to use.
GTSC is unwavering in its commitment to providing a profitable transportation service through the use of modern, environmentally friendly buses, ensuring a reliable, safe and comfortable travel experience for customers. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena E. Gwinyuba.
Now let's take a look at news beyond our borders. China's President Xi Jinping and America's Joe Biden, leaders of the world's biggest economies, are to meet this week in San Francisco at the annual summit of the 21-member Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC, amid escalating tensions between Beijing and Washington. The two leaders are scheduled to hold bilateral talks, which are expected to focus on reaching common grounds on key issues affecting their diplomatic relations. CGTN shared this story to QTV by Yumfe, who filed this report from San Francisco in the United States.
Chinese President Xi Jinping has kicked out his 4-day visit to San Francisco. He has just landed here at San Francisco International Airport. The Chinese president is welcomed by U.S. Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen, California Governor Gavin Newsom. President Xi's visit is at the invitation of U.S. President Joe Biden. Beijing says the two leaders will have in-depth communication on issues of strategic, overarching and fundamental importance in shaping China-U.S. relations and major issues concerning world peace and development. Key topics could include the Taiwan question, the South China Sea issue, and the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. The last face-to-face meeting between the two leaders was on the sidelines of the G20 summit last year in Bali, Indonesia. However, 2022 proved difficult for the ties between the two countries, with then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visit to Taiwan badly straining relations. But optimism slowly crept up this year. Beijing and Washington have re-established communication and maintained frequent interactions across various sectors in recent months, setting new conditions for the upcoming talks between the two leaders. The world is watching whether the two heads of state can carry on the outcome of Bali and make new developments in bilateral ties in San Francisco. President Xi is welcomed by local Chinese compatriots on his way to downtown San Francisco. U.S. officials, think tank experts, and entrepreneurs have welcomed President Xi's visit.
I get excited when I see the leader of China and the leader of the United States putting aside all of the differences and the geopolitical challenges that their teams are discussing on a regular basis to sit down at APEC, because they recognize the importance of this type of engagement.
And this has been a period of remarkable engagement, really historic over the last few years. So I'm really encouraged, and I feel hopeful there's going to be some good progress coming out of this.
President Xi is welcomed by local Chinese compatriots on his way to downtown San Francisco. The Chinese president will also attend a series of events during the APEC week, aiming to find common ground with leaders from Asia-Pacific economic entities. It's another commitment from the world's second largest economy, signifying its dedication to building a community of a shared future. Zhao Yunfei, CGTN, San Francisco.
Special thanks for sharing that story. I'm afraid that is all we have time for. Join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to tune in for Youth Dialogue up next.